Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered if love can be expressed without uttering a single word? In a world where actions often speak louder than words, there are subtle yet powerful ways that someone can show their love, ways that might slip by unnoticed if we're not paying attention. Imagine this: you're walking through life, feeling uncertain, maybe even questioning if you're truly loved, when suddenly a quiet gesture changes everything. What if I told you that the most profound acts of love are often the ones that don't make a sound, but hit the deepest? Today, I'm going to take you on a journey through the 7 most subtle ways love is communicated, ways that could reshape how you see the people closest to you. Are you ready for a revelation that could change the way you experience love forever? Stay with me, and you'll discover how sometimes the most meaningful moments are the ones that go unsaid. Let's dive into this emotional roller coaster, and by the end, you'll never look at your relationships the same way again. In the midst of life's toughest moments, when the weight of the world feels unbearable and every step forward seems more difficult than the last, one of the most profound ways someone can show their love is through silent support. It's the kind of support that doesn't demand attention, doesn't need to be acknowledged, and often goes unnoticed because it's not flashy or loud. Yet, it's the kind of support that can carry you through the most challenging times, offering a quiet strength when you need it most. When you're struggling, whether it's a personal loss, a professional setback, or simply feeling overwhelmed by life's uncertainties, there's a special kind of comfort in having someone by your side who understands the depth of your pain without you ever needing to explain it. You don't need them to say anything because their presence alone speaks volumes. It's the simple act of sitting next to you when you're emotionally exhausted, not expecting you to talk, but just offering their steady presence. They don't try to fix things or offer unsolicited advice, and they certainly don't belittle your emotions. Instead, they understand that sometimes the best thing they can do is just be there without words, without any need for explanation. The power of this silent support lies in its authenticity. It's easy to offer words of comfort, but words often fall short in moments of deep sorrow or uncertainty. What truly matters in those moments is knowing that you are not alone, that someone cares enough to sit with you in your silence, not trying to rush you through your grief or pain, but allowing you to feel it fully. It's this kind of presence that demonstrates love without needing to be verbalized. It says, "I see you. I understand. You don't have to carry this alone." In the chaos of life, when everything around you feels like it's falling apart, having someone who stands by you, who offers a hand to hold, or even a quiet hug without saying a word is incredibly grounding. It's as if their silent support acts as an anchor, holding you steady when everything else is in turmoil. You don't need them to solve your problems. What you need is the reassurance that they are there, that they'll stay by your side no matter how hard things get. It's not about being fixed. It's about being understood and accepted exactly where you are, without judgment or pressure to be anything other than yourself. This kind of love is incredibly subtle, but its impact is profound. It doesn't shout for attention, doesn't demand gratitude, and doesn't expect anything in return. It's not about grand gestures or big declarations, but about the quiet consistency of someone who is always there in the background, offering strength, comfort, and stability without ever needing to say a word. They know that sometimes actions speak louder than any speech could, and in these silent moments, their love is not only felt but deeply understood. There is a deep sense of trust that comes with silent support. It communicates that you don't have to explain everything, that you don't have to hide your vulnerabilities, that you don't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. It allows you to simply exist in your rawness without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. This unconditional acceptance is a powerful demonstration of love that doesn't require words. It's a reminder that love isn't about perfection or about having all the answers. It's about showing up even when you don't know what to say, even when the situation feels helpless. The fact that someone is still there, still choosing to stay, shows a depth of love that words could never fully capture. Sometimes the most significant moments of love are not the loud declarations or the dramatic gestures, but the quiet, consistent presence in the darkest of times. It's in those moments of silence that love is not only understood, but felt with a depth that words can never reach. This is the kind of love that doesn't need to be explained because it doesn't rely on grandiosity or words. It exists in the space between two people, in the shared understanding that love doesn't always have to be said aloud to be deeply and profoundly known. When you look back on the hardest moments of your life, it's often not the things people said that stick with you the most, but the ways they showed up. And sometimes the most powerful way they show up is through a quiet, unwavering presence, offering support without needing anything in return. It's in those moments that you realize that love doesn't always need to be loud to be real. Sometimes the quietest acts of love leave the most lasting impression. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to overlook the little things. But when it comes to love, it's often these small, seemingly insignificant acts that have the greatest impact. The little acts of care are often the quietest ways of showing affection, yet they carry the deepest meaning. These actions are the ones that don't demand attention or recognition. They're simply there, woven into the fabric of daily life, demonstrating a love that's steady, thoughtful, and enduring. It could be something as simple as making your favorite tea without being asked, or folding the laundry after a long day, just because they know it's something you don't particularly enjoy. It might be picking up your favorite snack when they're out, or clearing your plate after dinner without saying a word. These gestures may seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but they speak volumes about how much someone cares. They are the quiet, everyday expressions of love that don't require grand gestures or expensive gifts. They just require thoughtfulness and the willingness to put someone else's needs before their own. In many ways, these small acts of care are the foundation of deeper emotional connections. They show that the person is paying attention to the details of your life, noticing the little things that make you who you are. It's in these moments that love becomes tangible. You might not even notice the way your partner refills your water bottle before it runs out, or makes sure you've got an extra blanket when the night gets chilly. It's not something that's shouted from the rooftops, but it's a consistent pattern of thoughtful actions that reinforce how deeply they care about your well-being. These actions are also deeply meaningful because they require a kind of emotional intelligence that goes beyond just fulfilling needs. They're not just about meeting the practical demands of life. They're about demonstrating an understanding of what makes the other person feel loved, appreciated, and cared for. A small, thoughtful act, such as remembering how you take your coffee or how you like your food prepared, can communicate more than any elaborate declaration of love ever could. It's not just about what they do, but the thought and attention that go into it. There's something incredibly intimate about these small acts of care. They often happen behind the scenes, away from the spotlight, unnoticed by the rest of the world. It's a kind of love that doesn't seek validation from anyone else. In a world that often values loud expressions of affection, flowers, grand dates, and public declarations, it's the small, private gestures that often leave the deepest impression. These acts are not done for recognition or praise, but because the person truly cares about making your life just a little bit easier, more comfortable, or more joyful. And it's not just about doing things for you. These acts of care are also a reflection of how they perceive your needs and emotions. When someone notices when you're feeling down and takes the time to do something small to brighten your day, it's not just a reflection of their attentiveness, it's a reflection of how deeply they understand you. It shows that they're not only aware of your needs, but that they also care enough to act on them, even in the most subtle of ways. Sometimes these little acts of care come in the form of sacrifices. It could mean that they're giving up something they enjoy to make sure you're comfortable, whether it's staying home to keep you company when you're feeling under the weather or giving up their time to help you with something you've been struggling with. It's not about making a big deal out of the sacrifice, but about showing that they're willing to make small adjustments in their own life to show you they care. What makes these small acts so powerful is their consistency. They happen regularly, often without fanfare, and they become part of the rhythm of daily life. Over time, they accumulate, creating a steady foundation of trust and affection. They build a quiet but strong emotional bond that is unshakable because it's based on the simple truth that someone cares enough to put effort into your happiness, health, and well-being. These small acts become a language of love in themselves, a language that doesn't need words because the actions speak louder than anything that could be said. These acts of care are also a reminder that love isn't always about the big moments or the grand gestures. It's in the quiet, everyday things that love is most often shown. Whether it's grabbing your favorite snack when they're out, taking the time to listen when you're stressed, or simply being present when you need a moment of comfort, these small acts are the real, enduring expressions of love. It's the consistency, the thoughtfulness, and the care that go into these actions that make them so meaningful, reminding us that love is not just about the loud declarations, but about the quiet, everyday ways we show up for each other. There's a powerful language that transcends words, a language that is often more intimate and genuine than any sentence could ever convey. It's the language of unspoken communication, the subtle ways people express their emotions, thoughts, and affection without saying a single word. This form of communication is deeply rooted in body language, gestures, eye contact, and even silence. It's the way a glance can speak volumes, how a touch can convey more warmth than 1,000 spoken assurances, and how presence can be more reassuring than any spoken comfort. One of the most profound aspects of unspoken communication is its ability to convey emotions and intentions without the need for verbal exchange. Think about the times when you've shared a knowing look with someone, when no words were necessary to understand what the other person was feeling or thinking. These moments are powerful because they are authentic, raw, and deeply personal. They don't require analysis or interpretation, they simply are. When you're with someone who truly understands you, you can communicate entire conversations through a single glance, a shared smile, or even the way you lean into each other in a moment of quiet intimacy. In many relationships, unspoken communication is the glue that holds everything together. It's often more reliable than words because it's rooted in authenticity. When words fail, when language can't capture the depth of a situation or a feeling, unspoken communication fills the gap. A hand placed on your shoulder in times of distress doesn't need any explanation. It's a simple gesture that conveys empathy, support, and understanding. Similarly, the act of holding someone's hand during a difficult moment speaks louder than any comforting words could. These gestures don't need to be discussed because they are understood on a deeper level. They express a commitment to being there for someone, to offering comfort and solace without the need for verbal assurances. Another powerful form of unspoken communication is the use of eye contact. Eyes are often referred to as the windows to the soul, and there's truth to this saying. The way someone looks at you can communicate love, concern, attraction, or even disappointment without a single word passing between you. In many cultures, eye contact plays a crucial role in conveying trust and respect. The intensity of a gaze can express feelings that words often struggle to capture. Whether it's a loving look that reassures you or a brief glance that says, "I'm here," eye contact is one of the most direct and intimate forms of unspoken communication we can experience. Silence itself also speaks volumes in relationships. Sometimes the most comforting thing someone can do is sit quietly beside you, offering their presence without any need to fill the space with words. This silence isn't awkward or uncomfortable. Rather, it's a shared moment of connection. It's the kind of silence that happens when two people are in sync, when they don't need to say anything because everything is already understood. In those moments, words are unnecessary, and the bond between people is felt most strongly. Silence in this context is not empty, it's full of meaning, full of trust, and full of understanding. It's a space where emotions are communicated not through sound, but through the quiet comfort of simply being with someone. The physicality of unspoken communication is also incredibly significant. The way someone touches you, the closeness they maintain, and their body language can all convey emotions more effectively than words. A gentle touch on the arm, the act of brushing a strand of hair from your face, or simply holding someone's gaze for just a second longer can convey affection, care, and a deep emotional connection. The way someone positions themselves near you in a room, the subtle shifts in their posture when they're around you, all these things communicate feelings of closeness, love, and understanding without any verbal exchange. Unspoken communication also has the power to reveal underlying emotions and desires that words may struggle to express. In moments of conflict or tension, words can often escalate the situation, while nonverbal cues can provide insight into the true feelings of the person involved. A deep breath, a look of concern, or even the way someone shifts uncomfortably can reveal things that they might not be ready to articulate. In these moments, unspoken communication can be a source of clarity, allowing both parties to understand each other on a deeper level beyond the surface of what is being said. It's in these moments that people often reveal their true selves not through words, but through the subtle ways they react and engage with each other. What makes unspoken communication so powerful is its ability to create an unspoken understanding between people. It transcends language barriers and can be universally understood across cultures and languages. It's a language that is felt rather than spoken and often communicates more effectively than words ever could. These silent exchanges create bonds that are built on trust, intimacy, and a deep sense of connection. In relationships, this form of communication allows people to feel truly seen and understood, even when no words are exchanged. It's the silent conversations that happen when you're together, when words aren't necessary to communicate your feelings and needs, that form the foundation of the most meaningful relationships. These quiet moments are the ones that stay with you, lingering in the heart long after the conversation is over. In relationships, one of the most meaningful ways love is shown is by prioritizing the other person's happiness. It's easy to overlook this concept in a world that often focuses on individual achievement and personal goals. However, when someone truly cares about you, they go beyond their own needs and desires, making a conscious effort to ensure that your well-being is front and center. It's not about sacrificing one's own happiness completely, but rather about making intentional choices to foster an environment where both people can flourish, with the other's joy being a priority. When someone prioritizes your happiness, it's not always about grand gestures or dramatic acts. More often than not, it's about the small, everyday things that show they care about how you feel. It could be as simple as taking the time to listen when you're venting about a bad day, or it might be them making sure you have everything you need before they focus on their own tasks. It's the thoughtfulness in their actions, whether it's offering to make you dinner when they know you've had a stressful day, or giving you space when you need it, understanding that sometimes the best way to show love is by letting you breathe. These small, unspoken actions demonstrate that they see you, that they understand what you need, and that they're willing to do what it takes to ensure you're happy. This prioritization goes beyond just meeting immediate needs. It also involves a deeper, more thoughtful consideration of your long-term happiness. A person who values your happiness will make decisions that not only improve the present moment, but also lay the foundation for your future. It could be something as simple as helping you pursue your dreams, even when it requires their sacrifice, or offering encouragement when you're doubtful about your own abilities. They understand that your happiness is not just a fleeting moment, but something that needs to be nurtured over time. This kind of love doesn't look for immediate rewards. It seeks the long-term joy and well-being of the person they care about. There's a certain selflessness that comes with prioritizing someone else's happiness, but it doesn't come at the expense of the other person's needs or desires. A person who truly cares about you recognizes that their own happiness is tied to yours. When you are happy, they are happy. This connection creates a harmonious dynamic in a relationship where both individuals are invested in each other's joy. This investment isn't about keeping score or expecting something in return. It's about mutual respect and a genuine desire for the other's well-being. The act of prioritizing someone else's happiness, whether through acts of service, words of affirmation, or simply being present, strengthens the bond between people and creates a sense of unity that transcends surface-level interactions. Prioritizing happiness is also about knowing when to step back and let the other person take the lead, when to step out of the way to allow them to shine. It's recognizing that sometimes love means giving someone the space they need to grow and thrive on their own, without feeling threatened or diminished. The simple act of supporting someone's personal goals, whether they're related to career, hobbies, or personal growth, can be one of the most powerful ways to show love. It's about recognizing that their happiness might not always align with your own vision, but being willing to embrace and support them in their pursuit of what makes them feel fulfilled. What makes prioritizing someone else's happiness truly impactful is that it's not about control or expectation. It's about creating a partnership where both individuals have the freedom to express themselves fully, knowing that their happiness is valued and nurtured. It's not about manipulating or forcing someone to act in a way that benefits you. It's about lifting them up so that they can experience joy and fulfillment. This prioritization is an act of love that shows a deep level of respect for the other person's autonomy and their right to pursue what makes them happy. There's also a level of vulnerability that comes with prioritizing someone's happiness. It requires the courage to put their needs ahead of your own, to trust that they will value the effort you're putting into their joy, and to recognize that sometimes their happiness may not look like what you expect. It's about showing up consistently, even when it's difficult, and understanding that the act of loving someone is often about making them feel seen, heard, and supported. It's about the willingness to be selfless, not because you expect anything in return, but because their happiness genuinely matters to you. In a world that often celebrates individual achievement and personal success, prioritizing someone else's happiness can seem like a radical act. But when both people in a relationship understand the value of putting each other's joy first, it creates a bond that is unshakable. Happiness becomes something that is nurtured and protected, and it flows through every aspect of the relationship, making it more vibrant, fulfilling, and meaningful. When love is built on the foundation of prioritizing each other's happiness, it becomes a source of strength that can weather any storm, and the relationship becomes a true partnership, where both people are committed to lifting each other up.